Institutional Army is like a football franchise. It's the the coaching staff, the front office, the schedulers, and all of the things that enable a game to take place. Our operational army is what plays on the field. Our doctrine is what you do in the huddle. You have a game plan that the head coaches and the assistant coaches put together, and you move to the field with a doctrinal construct that you share in the huddle. You get to the line of scrimmage and you see the opposing team adjusting your defenses. You then go to audibles and you innovate, you adapt, and then the ball snapped and everything changes, and now you rely on the skill and innovation of the individual athletes to act as a team and to take advantage of opportunities that now arise that you never thought of before. I think you see this every day, where everyday soldiers are innovating and adapting to the realities that they find, and they're creating tactics, techniques, procedures, and doctrinal constructs that we feed back in through the institutional system and institutionalize and put back out through the schoolhouse and through the training base and incorporate.
There's a lot of untapped potential in all our soldiers that are out there that the division commanders, brigade commanders, battalion commanders really don't have access to. The concept of every soldier as a sensor is to fix that. In fighting in the asymmetric threat, the threat is all around us. That requires us to go from what would predominantly have been signals intelligence, imagery intelligence systems to human intelligence. And the most prolific sensor in that regard is every soldier we have on the battlefield. The battalion gets 50 to 100 patrols a day. They sweep out a lot of stuff, some of which may be important. We lose a lot of time today in writing out a report. If we digitize it at the point of origin, we have it automatically put in a written form, a digital form that people can use. It's all in the database, and it's all usable, and we can interact with it.
Because of the equipment we have, I don't really think that there's any other military in the world that can compare.
The CDA provides small unit leaders the capability to answer the three basic battlefield questions. Where am I? Where are my buddies? Where's the enemy? It uses a network of satellite communications which pass the messages up to an operations center where they're consolidated and then passed back down to everyone in the area of interest who needs them.
It brings in a communications capability to receive and transmit data, and has a screen so the soldier can see where he's at and see the threats that are on that screen and provide information back. We've done a series of tests at Fort Bragg. Those tests showed the value of a commander's digital assistance.
A patrol is out observing an area, and at some point they find an enemy location.
If one unit recognizes enemy personnel, they can place that information on the map.
And then enemy icons would go into the situational awareness update that comes out every 5 minutes.
And any other unit operating on a CDA will also be able to see where those enemy personnel are.
And that information should say, apprehend him, ask these kinds of questions, or do this.
So any information being put out, any obstacle reports showing where certain enemies are, they're going to get that information pretty much as soon as it's put out.
The CDA is the quickest way and most cost-effective way to move information warfare down to the dismounted soldiers.
I think it is a key part of the future of our Army.
So far, the capability stops at the platform. We don't think that's good enough. We don't want it to stop until every soldier has the information he needs.
Using our soldiers as sensors is key to our success. Can you imagine if policemen in New York City didn't have a requirement to report? The policeman on the beat knows that something's wrong because he's seen it, he understands it, he has a way of putting it into perspective. We have to build that same perspective with our soldiers. Everyone is a soldier, everyone's an infantryman, everyone's a sensor.
I am an American soldier.
I am a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States
and live the Army values.
I will always place the mission first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen combat.
I am disciplined, physically and mentally tough,
trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills. I always
maintain my arms my equipment, and myself. I am an expert.
And I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage
and destroy the enemies of the United States of America in close combat. I am a guardian of freedom
and the American way of life. I am an American soldier.
A revolution is taking place in professional football. It's a technological breakthrough that is transforming the way coaches coach and players perform. Introducing iScout, precision technology for finely tuned athletes and coaches who want to win. iScout combines the power of supercomputing capability gap analysis with the convenience of an iPad. To fully appreciate how iScout is shaping the future of football and how dramatic the changes will be, let's see how football has evolved as compared to how iScout's capability gap analysis has helped warfare evolve. But before we tell you about the iScout revolution, let's look at 100 years of football evolution. During the days of Jim Thorpe, the word technology did not apply to football. But as football evolved through the decades, it became more and more sophisticated. But even today, has advanced technology impacted the game of football? As you can see, not much has changed. The helmets have face masks, shoulder pads are bigger, and the uniforms look better. Now, let's compare to see how 100 years of evolution has changed warfare. In World War I, there wasn't much in terms of technology. Things were still pretty basic. But beginning in World War II, then Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, even today, America's warfighting machine has embraced and applied advanced technology with amazing results. In 100 years, technology has totally transformed warfare and the warfighter. America's armed forces are the most technologically advanced in the world. And in many ways, football and warfare have a lot in common. What better example than the famous Army-Navy football game? Players, like soldiers, must know the battle plan, and coaches, like generals, must devise that plan and hope it results in victory. Advanced technology has totally transformed the battlefield, but it hasn't transformed the football field. Until now. What if your scouting, management, and recruitment software use the same science and technology found on military proving grounds and NASA test sites? It's game-changing technology for the future.
I was thinking to myself, wow, if I can use this software to shoot a Scud missile out of the sky, or use it to shoot a cruise missile out, or use it for force protection to protect troops in Iraq, I ought to be able to use the same technology to help a defensive end sack a quarterback.
Having iScout is like adding a 54th player to your roster. Precision athletes require precision knowledge. And speaking of knowledge, Einstein's theory of relativity says the faster one travels, the more time slows down. And the faster a player can analyze a play, the faster he reacts. iScout gives the player the ability to slow the game down. It's playing in the iScout zone. Plus, you get iScout's awesome power, delivered with the convenience and portability of an iPad.
Coaches can use iScout in game planning,
playback study, player meetings, and for real-time scouting during games, training camps, and practices.
iScout brings precision scouting and analysis technology to the finely tuned athlete.
Stay one step ahead of your competition. Reveal areas for growth and development for the team or individual.
There are a variety of ways that the players and the teams can take advantage of the software. Some of the basic and obvious ones will be tracking the tendencies of their opponents so that when they're on the field, they will have as much information as possible to know in advance what is the most likelihood of the opponent and what they are going to be doing based on positioning, gesturing, and other features that they will be using to look at to determine what is most likely to happen.
iScout isn't selling technology. iScout is selling the future of football.
In addition, it can be used to help in game planning against the opponents by identifying team tendencies. What do they do in certain situations based on down and distance, based on weather conditions, and other environmental factors that will impact the decisions that need to be made to ultimately have that edge on the field.
Precision athletes require precision knowledge. To make the cut, make the play, iScout is an innovative strategic breakthrough. Its advanced capability gap analysis technology gives coaches and players the information and knowledge they must have in order to achieve higher and higher levels of performance. iScout will transform your coaching and game planning with in-depth opponent information. Your players will have the ability to slow the game down and play ahead of the action. To consistently make the big plays and win the big game by playing in the iScout zone. Open the door to the future and step into the iScout zone.
iScout is designed to completely integrate with the way you work and the data you track.
iScout, precision technology for finely tuned athletes.